Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another video. I'm Marg with Creative Stamping with Marg. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Albert, Alberta, Canada. Today we're going to do what I think is a pretty quick and easy card that has a really neat impact. And I will share a bunch of Stampin' Up! News with you. We're on our last week of the suite sale. And of course there's a new paper pumpkin kit and any other news that I have to share with you. Let's go down to my desk. All right, you can see on my desk I have the flyer for, sorry, my hand in there, the flyer for the suite sale, which has been going on all month and will continue to the end of the month. So you just have another week to take advantage of this. So this is buy one, get one half off. Anything that's contained in a suite or a whole suite, it's a great deal. A great way to get some of the components or all of a suite if you want it. All right, so that's still going on till the end of June. I also have the paper pumpkin flyer here. This is the new one to subscribe to by July the 10th. It's called Sweeter Than You. I believe it makes, this one's a little bit different. It makes 8 cards, 2 each of 4 designs. And you have the envelopes, of course. It says they're pre-cut paper pieces and vellum accents, hand-painted card-based designs. The ink spot is garden green. Looks like a fun summery one with strawberries and checkered tablecloths. So that looks like a good one. The dies that are coordinating with July, August, and September are these ones. So the number on these add-on dies is 167277, and they are $16.50, and you will get these dies. You can see the word hello. Looks like an acorn to me, but then I was wondering, is that the strawberry? I'm not exactly sure. There's some leaves and a small flower and a circle. So you would get all those dies, and they coordinate with the next 3 months. Okay, so that's the paper pumpkin. And let's see, I do have a card kit running right now, showcasing 12 by 12 designer series paper. I showed these cards last week, but I'll show them to you again. So they're all fun fold cards. They use our 12 by 12 paper. You would get everything that you see here, all cut, scored, embossed, whatever, and you get the ribbon, you get all the embellishments. You have a little bit of fussy cutting to do on this one with the peach. The only thing I can't do for you is stamps, so you would use your own stamps, whatever you have that would go, that you felt would go with these. You receive a PDF from me, and on that PDF, under each card, I tell you which stamps that I used if you're interested in what I used. And you also, once you purchase the card kit, I will email you the video that goes along with it, showing you how I made the cards, how I put the cards together. So if you're not a person that likes to follow a PDF, the video would help, and you can always stop it and rewind it and watch it again in order to put them together. Okay, so there's that kit. You can contact me through my email, mrgorn@shaw.ca, or through my website, margaretgorn.stampinup.net. The card kit is $15. If I'm shipping it anywhere in Canada, I have to add an extra $5. And if you're in my area, you can pick it up at my house. So that would just be the $15. Okay, also, there's the annual catalog that's out right now. If you don't have a demonstrator in Canada and you would like a copy of this catalog, you can get a hold of me again, either way, and I can get one to you. All right, let's get on with our card today. I'm calling this, well, I didn't know what to call it. Maybe you can help me with that. A split corner card, a faux corner card. I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, it's very easy to put together. I will show you a sample that I made, and we'll make this one together. All right, this is Darling Duckling. This is one of our new colors, one of our new in colors. So the card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. It's just a traditional card like that. We are going to do some cutting, but that's the card base. You will need a piece of white that is 4 by 5.25, so standard for the inside. And you also need a piece of DSP, 4 by 5.25. And then whatever you're going to do for a greeting, I've chosen a circle today. And any die cuts or anything like that that you want, you can add those on. Embellishments, ribbon, whatever. So, but the basic card is very simple. So we'll start with the card base itself, the front. What you need to do is, I just need a pencil. Bottom right corner, you're going to measure and put a dot at the 1 inch, 1 inch from the bottom. Just put a little mark. You can erase that at the end. Probably need an eraser, that would help me. There we go. And we're going to cut. So I'm going to bring in my paper cutter from the fold down to that mark that I made there, 1 inch up. Okay, so bring in my paper cutter and we will do that. All right, so I'm going to just put my pencil mark that I had in the track there and rotate this so that it is just at that fold. Close it and you should be able to see both of those things in here, and I'm just going to run it right up. That piece, that triangle that we've cut off, we do not need. So you could keep that to use it for something else, or you could do some die cutting out of that if you needed to. So that's what our front is now looking like. That. I will erase that little pencil mark that I made there, just off of there. Okay, so set that aside. We are going to take the designer series paper, do exactly the same thing. So remembering that this is 4 by 5.25, so a little bit smaller, of course, than this, but we're still measuring up the inch. Now, this one is a little harder for me to see where the line is, but I will make my mark on there. We're doing exactly the same thing. This time from this corner. So that point goes in, and then my line goes in at the bottom there. So that looks good. Now remember, you're not going to cut from the point because that often shreds it. So you want your cutter at the bottom here. And just going up. We need both pieces of this. So we're keeping both pieces of that. Okay, you're going to take your white. Now I've already stamped on my white. I am using, I forgot to tell you, this designer series paper is from the Floral Impressions paper that is new. And I am using Impressions A Bloom stamp set and dies. Did I use any of the dies for this? Yes, I did. So I am using the dies also. So I've already stamped on my, I've already stamped my words. So I will show you. I'm going to make this a thank you card. So it's going to say thanks on the front when I stamp on my die cut piece in the front. And on the inside, I stamped I appreciate you. And I did it in Old Olive, I think. Yeah, Old Olive. And you'll see why I did it at the bottom, because we're doing exactly the same thing. Remember, this is 4 by 5.25, same size as our designer series paper. We are also going to measure up the 1 inch from the bottom and cut this piece. So I put that point, top left point in there in the track, and my mark right there, like that, and cut up. We don't need this piece, so that piece we can put to the side. I will erase my little line. I don't think I erased it on this one. Just make sure it's not there. Okay, I think we're done all our cutting. Put our paper trimmer away. Now to assemble this. I think you can probably see where this is going. This piece is going to go, oh, I did forget to do something, sorry. This triangle will go up here. Now, you are being aware of your pattern. This does have a direction, so you're being very careful about that. So this piece is going to go up there, and this piece is going to go in the inside, just like that. Okay, And when it's closed, you can't see the white, but I did forget to do something, which I think is really neat. You could put this piece on just as it is. Absolutely, it fits just as it is. But the person that made this card that I watched, she took her piece, and I'm sorry I forgot to do this, and she cut off 1 inch at the bottom. I thought, okay, I wonder why she's doing that. But it is very effective. Now, the best way to do this is we have a 1 inch measure over here, so I'm going to go over there. Just makes it more stable to cut it, and you're going to cut this right off like that. So now you have your triangle, and you also have the 1 inch piece. So I'll show you how she put it together, and I thought, oh, that's very effective. Just an extra cut gives it a little more interest. So she actually put her pieces, she put this piece here, just like we were going to, and then you leave a bit of a space, and you put this piece here, so it just looks like it's cut. I don't know, I just thought it looked really neat how she left that cut line. And then this. Now, one thing I was going to say, I've made this card once, a sample, and then when I went to put it together again, I'm thinking, you know, you could do lots of things with this. You could emboss some of these layers with an embossing folder. It would look really neat. This is very busy paper, so I thought I'm not going to do that, but it could be done. So let's get putting this together. Like I say, very simple. So we'll start with the inside. I'm just using my Tombow liquid glue. And we will get this all put together. Like that. Looks good. Like I say, this is a real quick and easy way to put things. A really cute card. I think it's a different look to it, but very effective. Very effective. So I think it's very cool. All right. So there's that. And I've already done my stamping. So if you're doing your stamping, I would do it before you glue it in case you make a mistake, and you might have to fix that. You can't turn this paper over because then it would be the wrong way, but you might have to cut yourself a new piece. So I've gone ahead and done my stamping. And then we'll just put this in. This is, I think this allows you, sorry, my glue's not running today. A little bit here. I'll just always keep a pin in the side of my glue bottle. It seems to help. So I will just, there we go. Okay. And I just tuck it back in the plastic there, and there it's ready to go if I need it again. All right. So let's put this down here. And you can see I'm leaving a fair amount of space in between them because I don't want the white to show on the other side, like when it's closed. I don't want to be able to see that white, so I've left quite a big space in between. Okay, so that's what your inside looks like. I'm thinking I need my blend folder here. I'm just going to give this onto my table and give it another score down like that. Okay, then we're going to do the outside. So I'm going to put this on here, just like that, and then the 1 inch piece at the bottom. And that's the basis of your card. That's it. So, I mean, it uses one piece of DSP, one piece of white, and a card base. And I think it's really, this glue is going to give me trouble today, I can see. I think it's really, really cute and very effective. Sorry, it's hard to see where my edge is here. I just want to make sure it's even when I put it down. There we go. Okay, so there's that. And you can see I've got a little bit of a white edge, or the Darling Duckling edge on this. Okay, so that's what it looks like that. And then this piece at the bottom. And just make sure this goes on in the right order. Sorry, my glue is not running again. I think it's nice for somewhat busy paper, because sometimes we don't know what to do with that busy paper. It just doesn't, you know, it needs to be cut up, but you don't want to sort of spoil the design. I'm sorry, this glue is just not cooperating with me today. There must really be something in there, a plug of some sort. I'll just leave that in there. Okay, get this on like that. And this Floral Impressions paper is all so beautiful. You could make a whole set of cards using this with all, with all the different papers, because it's just so pretty. All right, there we go. I have glue on my fingers here and everything's sticking to me. So there's our card, made just like that. Okay, stands nicely, of course. Now, I decided I'd use some circles, which I showed you at the beginning. I've already stamped thanks from Impressions of Bloom on my circle, which came from my Stylish Shapes. And I also have another, I'm using some Last Chance items. This is the brushed gold, which is still on the Last Chance list, the brushed gold and silver. I'm going to offset my layers like this, and I thought I might just put them like there. So I'm going to just offset this. Now you do need to be careful when you're using foil, because, and white glue, they kind of don't go together. So you just have to be careful you don't get it smeared anywhere you don't want it. So just a little bit of white glue on the back of that. And like I said, I'm going to offset it just like this, just for something different. Okay, and I did die cut out of the Impressions of Bloom dies. They do have this leaf that I really liked, that die. So I thought there are some, I mean, not exactly the same, but I did die cut it out of Old Olive and out of Garden Green, because both those colors are supposedly in there, even though the Garden Green doesn't really go. This almost looks like an old color we had called Evening Evergreen, but it's not quite the same. So, and then I have a retired die, and it's the fern, and it kind of made me think of this fern that's on here. So I cut it out of Old Olive and Garden Green. And, you know, I encourage you to use whatever you have in your stash. And that kind of made me think, oh, I kind of like that because it looks like the fern on here. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I'm also bringing in something else from the Last Chance list, the Natural Tones linen thread. It came in 3 colors, and it's still on the Last Chance list when I checked. It comes in Copper Clay, Garden Green, and Night of Navy. And I thought, there is pecan pie stems on these. I thought maybe this Copper Clay would look good on there, or the Garden Green. We can stick to the Garden Green. And I've also brought in the gold textured adhesive back dots, which are on the Last Chance list too. These ones. And I thought we might use those. All right, so putting this together, I'm thinking I want my thanks sort of in the middle there. And I just want, I'm going to put them up on dimensionals, and I just want the dimensionals there, of course, on this side, not on this side. So if you plan it right, we'll see what we can do here to get those on right. So I'll take a couple of dimensionals here, and I think one there, one there. They have to be within my fingers here. There, whoops, and one there. Let's make sure I didn't goof on that. And then I'll just put another one on the very bottom of this, right where my finger is. That should work out good. All right, we'll take the backs off of those. And the back off of this one. And then I'm going to tuck my greenery in behind, I think. So I'm going to put it just like that. And by putting my dimensionals on the card instead of on the circle, then I know they're not going to be showing on this side. Okay, so there's our thanks. And then I thought I might mix these, like do it like this. Put one on top of the other, kind of like that, and tuck it underneath in there somehow. Don't know that I like that. Okay, so maybe I will just tuck this leaf maybe on top here. Maybe I will do it like this. This is the fun thing. I wasn't ever very good at floral design, but this is kind of fun to play around with this stuff. No, don't like that either. So we might just stick to just this one. And I might just put it there like that. And maybe I'll put, let's try a bow of this. This is the hardest part when you're doing the finishing touches to this. Maybe I'll take a longer piece of the copper clay and I'll do a double bow on here. It doesn't have to be very big. Let's just see if I like it before I do any cutting of my threads. Oops. Like that. This is my ends here. Little adjustment. See what I think of that. If I put this one here, this here, maybe. That looks okay. I think I kind of like that. Oops. I was going to try the garden green one. It stands out a little bit better, doesn't it? Even though it's not really, they say garden green is the other color, but I'm not so sure about that. And then I'm wondering, I'm thinking we might do a little bit of surgery to this one. How about we do this and we take one of the leaves off of this, or one of the leaves off of this one. Make it a little shorter and just overlay them. That might look okay too. All right, I think I will do that. So a little bit of glue on the back of this. Stick it down. That, and maybe a little bit on this leaf to stick it to the circle. Just like that. Looks good. I might have to add a little glue behind here because it's going to be a bit too floppy, I think. So I'll stick it down a bit. And then at this one, add an angle there, and I think that looks good. And so my idea about the fern pieces didn't pan out, but that's okay. Always try something. See what we think of it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then I think I might just attach that there. So I just need to cut the ends of this double bow that I made. Cut the ends off like that. And I'm going to stick it on there with a glue dot. All right. Let's see what we think of that. Move these things out of the way and use those ferns on another card. I will use a glue dot to stick that down. And we will add some embellishments onto it. Okay, glue dots, here they are. Okay, do a glue dot on here. I like to take my bow and lay it right on top of the glue dot. You can roll the glue dot a little bit because they are a bit too big, but once you get your bow stuck on there, you can just peel that off like that, and it's stuck on the back of your bow. Okay, and I think I will just put that bow right there. All right, there we go. That looks good. And then we've got these embellishments. So let's add some of these. They come 3 sizes, so we might as well use the 3 sizes. I'm thinking I put one there. That's the large one. Then maybe put medium one there and the small one. Whoop, lost it. Put it just over there. There we go. All right. So 3 things we used from the last chance list. That's another thing I meant to mention to you. Please check the last chance list. There's still lots of great things on it. The twine that I showed you, which is a 3-pack. Night of Navy, Garden Green, and copper clay. And you can see the copper clay, you know, can be used. And really the color in here is pecan pie, but I think that sort of added a little bit of brightness to this card by putting that on there. Again, again, if you don't like that, you could have chosen the garden green, which would have gone very well with it. And these gold textured adhesive dots that I used, and the brushed gold paper foil. All right, so there's our card for today. Quick and easy. Great. Not difficult to put together. Could be decorated any way you like, and opens like that. So I'm happy with that. I think it's very effective. Okay, and here's the one I made. This is from a paper pumpkin kit. So exactly the same idea. I used Mossy Meadow as my card base for this one, and this was the daisy kit. Cut my piece of paper exactly the same. Opens like this, and I decorated the inside with some of the cutouts that they gave you in the kit. So there's the two cards. Kind of funny that they're both green and yellows, but that's just the way it turned out. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps on my YouTube. And thanks for watching again today. Please get a hold of me if you need a catalog or you're interested in my card kit. And I hope everybody has a great week.